everybody, and welcome to another ASMR video here on the channel. Now in tonight's video, for the first of 2025, I thought we'd just get straight back into the swing of things really with the videos. I was gonna do a ramble just talking about my Christmas and New Year's, etc. But to be honest, bar a few football games and spending time with family, I didn't really do a lot. I really just took the time to just chill out completely, so I don't really think there'd be too much to talk about. So I thought, you know what, let's just get the ball rolling straight away and jump back into the usual videos that we do. The eagle-eyed viewers among you will notice that we have a new addition behind me. We have a sleeping Pikachu. One of my better Christmas presents for sure, something I mentioned once to my partner ages ago, about how basically with the members videos, with the memberships I'm trying to spit out, you get custom emojis, and that includes a sleeping Groot, sleeping Baby Yoda, and a sleeping Pikachu. And in the background of my videos, we only ever had Groot and Grogu. So now we have the set as a nice little advertisement, I guess, for the memberships. But anyways, in tonight's video, we're going to be jumping back into true crime. It's definitely been some time since I've done one, and it's definitely going to become a more regular staple here on the channel. And then on Thursday we'll have a nice long facts video for you all. So hopefully you all had a lovely New Year's and Christmas period, and I'm really looking forward to getting the channel going and aiming for 50k this year. That's the aim, but gonna take a bit of work. But without further ado, let's get into the true crime of the video, and we're going to be looking at some of the biggest and weirdest cases of fraud ever. Right, here are 9 unbelievable identity theft stories. Beginning with number 1, the Tinder swindler who scammed lonely lovers out of millions. Shimon Hayut is the subject of the Netflix documentary The Tinder Swindler, and he's one of the most brazen scammers on this list. Hayut posed as a wealthy businessman on Tinder and used his lavish lifestyle to impress women and build relationships. Soon after, he would tell his current target that business rivals were threatening his life and ask for credit cards and loans. Hayut maxed out cards and didn't repay the loans, leaving many of his victims straddled with crippling debt. The Israeli Times estimates that he defrauded his victims for a total of £10 million. So how did the scam work? While Hayut's scam seems made for our times, it's really just a variation of an age-old scheme, the romance scam. In a romance scam, con artists pose as wealthy and attractive individuals to gain their victims' trust. Once they build rapport, they start asking for gifts, money, and favours. A total of 72,800 people were victims of romance scams in 2022 alone. So how to avoid becoming the victim of a romance scam? There are several romance scammer red flags to watch out for, but there's one in particular that gives them away. Scammers like to move fast. Romance scammers will often profess feelings of love quickly. They'll pressure you to admit you feel the same way and then start asking for money or to invest in a guaranteed investment. If you want to stay safe, just remember, Never give money to someone you've only ever met online, no matter the reason. Right, number 2. The credit check fraudster who stole 33,000 identities. In 2004, Philip Cummings pleaded guilty to one of the largest identity theft cases in the United States. Cummings worked a desk job at Teledata Communications in Long Island, New York, where he helped companies run routine credit checks. When he left his job, he packed up his belongings along with the confidential passwords that belonged to 33,000 customers. With the help of an accomplice, Cummings sold this sensitive data to criminals who used it to drain bank accounts and commit credit card fraud. The US Department of Justice estimated a total loss of $50 to $100 million due to the scam. So Cummings' scam was one of the earliest examples of a data breach. This is where criminals access a company's database and then sell stolen sensitive information for a profit. Just notice the sunlight is like peeking through the trees now, so the top of my head is nicely illuminated. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Major data breaches happen nearly every single day, especially in healthcare. Stolen personally identifiable information, PII, or a health record with the policyholder's name and payment information could be used to commit medical identity theft. Right, number 3, the celebrity identity thief who went after Oprah, Spielberg, and more. Abraham Abdallah targeted America's richest individuals with his internet identity fraud scheme. His victims included Steven Spielberg, Oprah Winfrey, and Warren Buffett. A restaurant worker by day, Abdallah used early web-enabled phones and library computers to find sensitive information on his targets, including home addresses, date of birth, phone numbers, and SSNs. Then, he submitted change of address requests to reroute their mail. Soon he gained even more sensitive information, such as credit cards, investment accounts, and more. The critical piece in Abdallah's identity fraud scam was what's known as change of address scam. Fraudsters use your personal information to submit a request with USPS to reroute your mail. Before you can notice that your bills have stopped arriving, they've collected enough sensitive data to steal your identity, and worse. Number 4 now, the mum who stole her daughter's identity to become a cheerleader. If you had a chance to redo your life, would you take it? Sounds like the start of an Eminem song. That's exactly what Wendy Brown tried to do when she stole her daughter Jamie's identity. Brown used her daughter's identity to enroll in high school and join the cheerleading squad. She only got caught when the school called Jamie's old school and discovered she'd never left. Brown was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect and was committed to a psychiatric facility for 3 years. Unfortunately, child identity theft has become more and more common in the past few years. Just last year, 915,000 children fell victim to ID fraud. Children are an attractive target for criminals as few people monitor their child's social security number. That means you won't find out about the crime until your child applies for credit cards, student loans, or a driver's license. Even worse, the majority of child identity theft is committed by a parent or presidential candidate. There's no good time to become the victim of a phishing scandal, but right in the middle of a presidential election has to be one of the worst times. John Podesta was the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign when he fell for a phishing scam. Russian hackers sent an email posing as Google and asked Podesta to change his password due to an alleged hacking attempt. However, the link went to a malicious website that gave the hackers access to his email account. Once they got in, the hackers released thousands of private and damaging emails right before the election. While phishing emails are often easy to spot, scammers have improved their schemes. In this case, Podesta was the victim of spear phishing. This is a type of cyber attack where criminals learn about their victim and craft a scam they're more likely to fall for. It's bespoke. The hackers knew that Podesta would be nervous about a potential hack right before the election, and they used his fears against him to gain access to his account. Number 6. The scammer selling stolen cars on Facebook Marketplace. When Cody needed a fuel-efficient car to make deliveries, he turned to Facebook Marketplace. There, he found a car offered for sale by a man listed as Yoni on Facebook, but who said that he went by another name. Neep met the seller in person to purchase the car and paid $3,500 in cash. The seller gave him the car's signed title and original key, so everything seemed above board. It wasn't until Neep registered the car at the DMV that he discovered it had been listed as stolen. He brought it to the police department. They told him that the original owners had gone on vacation and left the car title and a spare key in the glove box. While this fraud story was simply a case of vehicle theft, scammers have found easy ways to make stolen cars look legitimate. Title washing is when scammers create a fake title for a vehicle that either changes the car's status or VIN. Number 7 now. The fake hostage phone call scam. Indiana police are warning citizens of an unsettling new scam after a woman reported receiving a fake hostage call about her mother. The victim, who chose to remain unnamed, received a phone call in the middle of the night that seemed to come from her mum. When she answered, a man addressed her using her name and claimed that he was holding her mum hostage with a gun to her head. The scam victim could hear a woman in the background screaming. The caller said he needed cash to get home and threatened to hurt her mum if the victim didn't send money via Venmo. So she complied and sent $1,500 over Venmo. After the thieves hung up, the victim called her mum back only to discover that she was unarmed and never held hostage. So how does this work? Scammers use phone calls all the time as they're an easy way to create urgency and trick their victims into acting. In this scam, the fraudsters spoofed their phone number to look like it was coming from the victim's mother. But how do they know who to call? There's more than enough information in your online footprint and on social media for scammers to find a vulnerable target. That one is crazy. Because, it's one thing to scam people out of money, but, receiving that phone call would be so traumatic. You're causing, even though it turns out to not be real, you're still causing, psychological damage. That is mental to me. YouTuber JC Erin's ID theft story starts with her mother's email address. Hackers broke into Erin's mother's email account and stole sensitive information, including her credit card info and phone number. They then contacted her phone service provider to have all incoming calls to Erin and her parents rerouted to their phone. Erin snuffed out the hackers early and changed back their phone service. However, a few days later, Erin's father realised that the scammers had spent almost $40,000 using his credit card. The credit card company's calls to verify the strange purchases had gone straight to the scammers. Unfortunately, SIM swapping is a common scam that's easy to pull off for fraudsters. All they need to do is harvest enough information about you to convince your phone provider to port your number to a different phone. Once the swap is complete, the scammers will receive all your calls and texts. This lets them bypass security features like fraud alerts and two-factor authentication codes. Gosh. This video is just kind of making me paranoid that I'm going to get scammed soon, or maybe I'm encouraging copycats. Right, here we have the mini FX crypto scheme that funded its founder's lavish lifestyle. According to the FBI, MNEFX Chief Executive Officer Eddie Alexander ran an elaborate cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme that racked up over $6 million in losses. MNEFX promised crypto investors a guaranteed return of 5% or more each week. Ultimately, Alexander collected $59 million from individual investors. But there's little evidence to show that he used the money for the advertised purposes. According to the Justice Department, Alexander invested $9 million in individual stocks, losing more than $6.2 million. It was also later discovered that the bulk of the money he collected helped fund his luxurious lifestyle. Scammers love cryptocurrencies due to the lack of regulation and easy nature of the industry. They contrive a fear of losing out by promising huge returns, but then either steal any money that people invest, or use it to pay out earlier investors to keep the scam running. Crypto investment scams are especially common on platforms like Telegram and in online dating scams. And that's the last one on that website. I mean, that just reminds me of the October coin, which was an unfortunate end to the year for me. I am joking, I am not a moron. I mean, that October coin scam, for those of you that don't know, this girl, Hayley Welch, I think her name is, literally got famous for, well, describing the act of auteur. The act of performing certain acts. And somehow she's ended up with her own podcast, which, to be fair, is a good name for a podcast based on what she's famous for, but it's the most weird industry plant, like just strange thing ever. But anyway, she launched a crypto coin, released it, it skyrocketed, and then her and her team seemed to then dump their share of the cryptocurrency for a massive profit, leaving everybody with essentially a worthless cryptocurrency. But in my opinion, if you're stupid enough to buy that thinking it's actually going to be a legitimate thing that makes you money and grows steadily over a number of years, then you almost deserve to have your money stolen. It's kind of natural selection at that point. I mean, it's terrible what she did, obviously, but on another level, you kind of have to just say, yeah, fair enough. Like, you're a scummy person if you purchased Octo a coin, be sure to let me know down below so we can berate you. But yeah, that's gonna do it for tonight's video. I really hope you did enjoy it. Leave some comments down below on some other true crime stories you'd like to see. They can be topics or like specific crimes that we can, do a bit of a deep dive into. Let me know down below. But yeah, that is gonna do it for tonight's video. There'll be a new video on Thursday, which will be slightly longer. I just wanted to quickly record this one on my lunch break to, get going for the year. So, anyways, I hope you did enjoy. If you did and you're able